Pac-12 title. For UCLA, they have a lot of great pieces.
Bushler with the power.
Jordan Anderson has power from every side.
Washington loaded with weapons, just pick your poison.
Wow, Chrissy Jones, she can be plugged in just about anywhere.
Courtney Schwann, number 4. Any kind of shot, she's capable of making it.
At this point, it becomes about composure.
So much at stake.
UCLA's trying to win a conference championship.
The Huskies trying to win the Pac-12 title outright.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Welcome into Seattle, Washington. We are so glad to have you with us. It is the match that you have been waiting for. 2 top 10 teams in America tied for first in the Pac-12 standings, getting after each other tonight with a chance to win a Pac-12 championship. Take a look. Both squads 14-4 and are playing really good volleyball right now. Whoever wins this match tonight will ensure a share, at least, of the Pac-12 championship. Hi, everyone. Welcome into Alaska Airlines Arena. I'm Elise Woodward, joined by Amy Gant, former member of the national team. And these two teams playing really good volleyball right now. They're both on hot streaks. They're both sitting atop the Pac-12 standings, and it's going to be fun tonight, I imagine.
Definitely high-level volleyball. Both these teams very consistent. They're playing their best volleyball of the season, and they both really want to win this match.
Speaking of playing the best volleyball of the season, Tia Scambray, Washington's excellent outside hitter. The last 5 matches, she has been on fire.
She really has. She's upped her game over this last half of the season, specifically in November, and that's great for this Washington team, who's already very well balanced. Scambray provides a lot of offense on the outside. Her defense is good too, and she gives a lot of offense out of the back row as well, and that well-distributed offense really helps UW, especially against a team like UCLA.
Yeah, for UCLA, they are led by the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week, Taylor Formico. What does she bring to the Bruins?
What doesn't she bring? Coach Michael Seeley says Formico is one of those players that comes along just once in a coaching career, and he just loves watching her play. She has this sixth sense about defense. She's virtually everywhere on the floor, providing multiple opportunities for her team to get those kills on the outside.
It is Pac-12 volleyball presented by Tachikara. A Pac-12 championship is on the line tonight. You do not want to miss it. Come on back.
It's a new day.
I'll bring the ice. Let's go, Dr. Pepper. Yep, let's go.
This Pac-12 women's volleyball match is presented by Tachikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. And brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. It is an amazing crowd inside Alaska Airlines Arena. They are waiting to see the Huskies potentially capture a share of the Pac-12 championship. That's what's on the line tonight. But Michael Seeley, head coach of the UCLA Bruins, trying to win here in Seattle for the first time in his career. He's been with UCLA for 7 years. The Bruins haven't won here since 2003, Amy.
That's absolutely unbelievable.
For Washington, Keegan Cook in the second year here at Washington, taking over the spot for Jim McLaughlin, who went to Notre Dame. Of course, national championship won here with the Huskies in 2005. And we talked a little about Tia Scambray. Courtney Schwann leading this team in kills for the season, number 4. Definitely somebody to keep your eye on here in the match tonight. And we are ready to get underway. Ryan Chandler back to serve. The redshirt junior, although, just declaring this week that this will be her last season with the Bruins, and was on her before the game began as a senior. And right away, the Huskies able to side out.
Both these teams are very consistent, and so what we're going to see is a lot of long rallies. And so for all of the hitters on the floor, they've got to be very consistent and patient.
And that is Tori Van Winden, the freshman. A UCLA Bruins squad with 6 seniors, but the freshman is the one that actually has been the most consistent hitter over the last few weeks.
Yeah, Van Winden, especially that opposite position in general for UCLA, a very big scoring position.
In the middle to Jones, but Formico there. And blocked back by UCLA. And off hands is Tia Scambray and down for the kill.
For Washington, talking to Coach Cook, he said, you know, I really want to see my team get out there and take some swings, up the intensity and really attack.
Good look at Tia Scambray, the junior for Washington. And that overpass is right to their most dangerous hitter, Courtney Schwann, who knows what to do with that one.
Well, and you look at Schwann, she gets the kill, turns around, points to the server who's responsible for that overpass.
Well, the Huskies have been so good in the serve game, 25 aces, and they've only been aced 9 times over the last 5 matches. That's their game. They put a lot of pressure on you with that serve.
They spend a lot of time in practice working on it. Every single player's got a terrific jump float that moves around a lot, gets in a lot of seams, and gets a lot of teams in trouble.
And out of system again, but outside to Bushler. And the slide to Majima, the true freshman middle, who has been playing really well for Washington lately, and she has been consistent with that slide since arriving on campus.
Right, you can tell Benjamin knew she wanted that tip before she even started her approach. She was ready to find that spot.
And the Huskies out to a very hot start, 5-1 lead here in Seattle, but UCLA getting the side out there.
UCLA is a team that can play regardless of what the score is. They really focus on that next play, that next moment, not worrying about whether they're playing well, whether they're down, whether they're up. They're just going to play that consistent UCLA volleyball.
Well, Michael Seeley, the head coach for the Bruins, said that his team is not focused on the Pac-12 championship that is up for grabs tonight. He didn't even mention it to his team. It's about the process, and it's not about the result, but there is a lot on the line today as Washington goes back to serve Kara Bajma. In the middle to Scambray, but that is long. Took a big swing at that one.
Well, in that play right there, if you look at that specific play with the tip coming from UCLA and the transition from UW, obviously not happy with the result, but this is what the Huskies trained for all week, was that transition, getting that dig up and trying to get that kill.
Well done there, and the result, a kill for Courtney Schwann.
That double quick play to Courtney Schwann, she's going to come inside, and that's going to give her a lot of court to get into. A lot of cross court opens up, Schwann can find it.
Good job by Kylie Miller keeping that one from going over. Another big swing from Scambray. It's Tanner back to Jones. Well struck ball by the junior.
Coach Cook said Chrissy Jones is due for a big match, and I'm sure he hopes this is the one. She is so good in that opposite position, has played in virtually every position this season, and really settling in on the right side.
Yeah, Chrissy Jones, there was some injuries earlier this year to Washington's middles, the 2 freshmen, and they moved her to the middle. She can play anywhere. She's also their best server. Chrissy Jones doing a little bit of everything. In the early timeout, Washington with a 9-3 lead here in Seattle. It's a good one.
This black.
Watching Pac-12 Los Angeles.
It is Spike Night here in Seattle, Washington, presented by Tachikara. The Washington Huskies, the 7th-ranked team in America, jumping out to a 9-3 lead over the UCLA Bruins. And you wonder, this has been a house of horrors for UCLA. They have lost 13 matches in a row here in Seattle, and they're down here early. You wonder in the back of their minds if they think about that whatsoever in getting ready for this one. And out of the timeout, Courtney Schwann, part of the big block set up by Washington, and they're fired up.
Well, and I think clearly the better Washington plays, the crowd becomes more of a factor.
And it was, we were told before the match started, it's a lower bowl sellout here at the University of Washington. Tanner out to Schwann, and another kill for Courtney Schwann. 9 kills for Washington, just 1 error. They are hitting well over 500 early in set number 1.
And what you want to look for is how Washington is transitioning off the tips from UCLA. When UCLA doesn't get that perfect swing on the outside, as we see another huge block right there. When UCLA doesn't get it, they're going to tip over, and what Washington's been able to do is transition quickly and get that kill. When UCLA is swinging away, that block right there for Washington, and it all starts with the serve. Because Washington is controlling the serve, they're putting UCLA on the defensive, and so they're just a step behind.
A dig there by Shane McPherson, and a misplay there by Washington. So UCLA getting the side out they desperately needed, but down by 8 points early in this one. Washington has been a brilliant team in set number 1. This entire season, they've only lost 2 times in set number 1. They put a lot of pressure on you, and they're doing that here to UCLA early. That's Destiny July entering the game for Washington. And that is Schwann. The block got a piece of it, but not enough.
Bailey Tanner doing a great job setting the offense for Washington. She's distributing well. Her location looks spot on, allowing her hitters plenty of room to hit around and over the block.
Now, first time Washington has gone to that 5-1 system with Bailey Tanner, and she's that lone setter for the team, and she's done a fabulous job leading the Pac-12 in assists this season.
And for UCLA right here, they just want to settle down, find their rhythm, and find their openings. They're great at making adjustments, and so as they figure this team out, they're going to make those adjustments, find success. But to do that, they've got to pass the ball and find some sort of offensive rhythm.
And that was tipped by Avi Neese, another freshman for Washington. Campfire, everybody standing around and watching that one.
Right there, everyone available, but nobody willing to go to pick up that defensive play for UCLA.
You see Taylor Formico, the libero of the year last year in the Pac-12 conference, exhorting her team, all right, let's go, let's go. She's the leader of that defense. We'll see if Scambray can get to that one. Good effort flying into the scorer's table, but a little bit out of her reach.
You know, it's fun to watch for UCLA. Formico on the floor. She means so much to this team as we get a good look at that pursuit. And credit to Scambray for going after it but not killing herself and being aware that she's got a lot more swings to take and to stay safe on that one.
There's a lot of video equipment over there. It's not so giving. Not forgiving when you're flying into the stands, you're landing on a TV monitor. So UCLA needs a turnaround here in set number 1. They are down by 8 points. And Washington came out behind a big crowd. It is loud inside Alaska Airlines Arena, and they know what is at stake. Pac-12 championship. These two teams tied atop the standings at 14-4. And Washington a year ago, loving the fact that they had a chance to win a co-championship in the Pac-12 along with USC. And if they can get a win here today, Amy, this will be their 3rd Pac-12 championship in the last 4 seasons.
Washington clearly one of the top teams in this conference year after year, and this, although a very interesting season where we've seen a lot of losses, Washington again finding their way to the top. This will be the first time that any team has had 4 losses to win, and that just talks about the parity within this conference.
And it might be 5. So for both of these squads, the 2 top teams right here, UCLA and Washington, tied atop the standings at 14-4. One team will obviously lose and one team will obviously win. The winner will win a share of the Pac-12 championship, but it's not over. Washington then has to travel over to Pullman on Saturday to play the Cougs, who are ranked 25th in America, and who came in here to Seattle and beat Washington. UCLA will go down to their home, Poly Pavilion, but they'll take on USC, who is doing everything they can. They're on the bubble to make it into the NCAA tournament. They're going to be fired up. So 2 very difficult matches, including this one, for these teams.
But that's just typical for Pac-12 volleyball. I think all these players are used to night in, night out, just a battle on the floor.
There are 8 teams in the Pac-12 Conference in the top 45 of the RPI, all of them trying to find a way to get into the tournament. And that one long, UCLA looking for a touch, but not going to get it. So a point for Washington and now a 10-point margin for the Huskies. We saw Chrissy Jones miss it that one. Just went over the top of that one. She's the best server for Washington, but the error for her there. That's Bushler. Out to Scambray, and she is bringing some power tonight. Another kill for Scambray.
Right now, Washington just really in sync. They're passing well, they're serving well, and they're playing defense, not just popping the ball up, but getting it in a position where they can still run their offense at a high level. And that doesn't really open the door for UCLA to work their way back into this first set.
4 different Huskies with multiple kills in this game. And that one is long for UCLA, so Washington's winning the 50-50 balls in set number 1, and UCLA, too many errors in this one so far. And the hustle play by Jones to track that one down, what looked to be like a kill. That's Van Winden getting that one. Good rally here. And a big swing from Riley Bushler. Finally a little bit of body language on the positive side from UCLA.
Well, for sure, in the longest rally of the match so far, UCLA able to come out and get that win. That gives a little momentum, a little confidence that, yes, they can find a way to crack through that defense for Washington.
But Washington coming right back. Courtney Schwann, who has been fabulous, definitely a candidate for Pac-12 Player of the Year. You saw a roll shot that one. She is so good at disguising her shots, and it makes it so hard on the defense to know where to go to get her ball. Schwann again with a kill, and she is swinging hard.
And UW going with that double quick outside to Schwann. They like to run their middle on a 3-set, which is 3 feet away, and that holds the blocker, allowing Schwann a big seam to hit through.
So UCLA will get it right back after the service error.
So right here for Washington, obviously they're feeling pretty confident in this first set, but what they need to do is just step on the gas and finish it out. They don't want to allow UCLA to work through and find some momentum to take into the second set with them.
As good as Washington is in the first set, and another block, a solo block from A.V. Nice. Washington is not a good team in the second set. They're just above 500, but they're brilliant in set number 1. So certainly we'll see if they can finish this one out. 4 points away now from getting a win in game 1. And miscommunication there from UCLA's offense.
And I think with UCLA trying to get something going offensively, they're just pressing a little too hard, trying to get a little too tricky. And I get that because the block is right there for Washington, so they're trying to find those seams. But if the pass isn't there consistently, it's hard to do that.
That was a nice ball by Kyra Rogers.
Where UCLA has found success in this first set is in the middle, getting that ball to their middle in the one-on-one and just attacking either corner.
That's Schwann tracked down by Bushler with the free ball. And in the middle to Chrissy Jones, and she knows what to do with that.
Chrissy Jones is such a fun player to watch because anywhere on the court she can get a kill. You can see her running that play out of the back row, that surprises the blockers who are trying to track their hitters. But Jones is a player that can come at you anywhere on the floor at any level.
Nearly kick save by Chrissy Jones, but well executed offense from UCLA here.
Claire Felix running that quick behind the center off 1 foot, and you can see the block for Washington, not prepared, not up and ready.
And again, you mentioned it, out of the middle is where UCLA had success. Brilliant offense again by the Huskies. They look in sync tonight, and now they are at set point.
Well, and credit Bailey Tanner as well for crafting an offense that has her team hitting 600 for the first set. Unbelievable.
And very few errors. They've been taking big swings. Keegan Cook said before the match that you don't want to get in long rallies with UCLA. They're so good. They dig the ball better than any other team in this conference. They're 6th in the nation in that category. You've got to bring some heat, and they have. And no touch called, so that is it for set number 1. Washington comes out and dominates UCLA, and that has been the story. They've won 13 in a row here in Seattle, and they lead 1-0 here tonight.
You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles, home of the
Dogs dominate in set number 1, 25-11 over UCLA. It's Pac-12 Volleyball presented by Tachikara on Spike Night. And Friday, the Civil War is here. The 19th ranked Ducks head to the Beaver Dam for the final game of the regular season. Women's volleyball starts Friday at noon on Pac-12 Network, or watch on the Pac-12 Now app. So many implications all over the place with Pac-12 volleyball. This one obviously taking center stage here today. The Pac-12 championship up for grabs. Whoever wins will ensure themselves a share, but the Civil War with Oregon ranked 19th in America and trying to maybe get up there to top 16 and host in the NCAA tournament. What do you see from this one, Amy?
Well, I think Oregon's playing really well right now, and they definitely got something to play for. Vanderweide on the outside. A fantastic player, but all around, I think Oregon solid, but you never know in this conference. Anything can happen. And talking about this match, you know, it's interesting. Anytime you have a 25-11 score like we had in the first set, I think not only does a team like UCLA want to forget about that and move on, but Washington does too, because that tendency to maybe get a little overconfident always happens when you beat a team so handily. And inevitably, coming into that second set, it's a brand new ball game, and UCLA is going to wake up. And can Washington be ready and be able to make their adjustments as we come into this second set?
Well, the Dogs have been brilliant in set number 1 throughout the season. They've only lost 2 set number 1s all year, but in set number 2, different story. They're just 15-13, so UCLA can take some solace in that. This Washington team is not the same, or hasn't been all season long, in set number 2. Good hustle play by UCLA. They didn't get any of those in the first set. And out of the middle, but that one is wide, so Washington.
And so because volleyball is that game of making adjustments, and you're constantly changing and watching your hitters, what UCLA could take out of that first set, 2 things. First of all, they want to pass. They want to win the serve and pass a little better, but they were able to find a little success out of the middle. When they did get that pass up to the net, they saw openings with their middle hitters. So look for them to really try to feed the middle. For Washington, they were very well balanced. They just want to make sure they stay consistent. They don't want to make a ton of hitting errors and open the door for UCLA.
Well, Washington, 16 kills, only 1 error in set number 1. You are going to dominate with numbers like that.
And it's always boring when you talk to coaches, and everyone knows, but the key to winning volleyball games is the serve and pass game. You've got to serve tough, you've got to pass and stay in system, and it's those things that players work on over and over and over that maybe aren't the most fun, but definitely prove to be responsible for the most success on the floor. And Washington did that first set. They served very well, and they stayed in system.
Nice job by Bailey Tanner, the setter, getting her hands on that block and coming away with it. And somehow that one finding the court.
Schwann's such a quiet, deadly player there on the outside. She had 7 kills in the first set, and she doesn't do it in a loud, aggressive way that really makes you take notice of her. She's kind of that deadly assassin there on the outside, just so smart, putting the ball where the other team isn't.
She might be the smartest hitter in this conference. She just reads the defense so well. And another kill for Washington, and now they jump out in set number 2, 4-1.
So then the challenge for Washington becomes maintaining that level of play regardless of what the score is. Neither team wants to look up at the scoreboard right now. They want to just play the point in front of them and continue to play at a high level.
Good up by Tia Scambray there, and out to Schwann. That's Bushler off hands for the point. Riley Bushler, the 6'1" junior.
That swing for Bushler, really one of her favorites, and I like it a lot because you're always going to have that big block in front of you, and if you can consistently use that ball out of bounds, defensively there's no response.
That's Schwann, and that was some power. The cross-court shot from Courtney Schwann. Just another in her repertoire that we've seen here tonight.
And not just power, but look how she tattoos that sideline. You couldn't have placed that ball better. No defense around.
Back to Bushler. It's sent back by Washington's defense. Tanner to Schwann, and really close to the net. She didn't have a lot of choices, but found a way to get that one down.
I think that's what makes a great outside hitter, is being able to make those quick last-second decisions based on what you've got in front of you, what kind of set you're dealt, what the block is doing in the defense, and Schwann does that so well. She's got so many shots and picks the perfect time to use them.
That's Bushler. Washington getting hands on it again, and A.V. Neese out of the middle. This Washington team right now is really playing at a high level. They're balanced, and they're getting production from all over the place. This time it's A.V. Neese in the middle, and the Washington Huskies are rolling, leading 7-2 here in set number 1.
You're here to buy a used car, truck.
You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles.
Huskies are rolling 7-2 here, set number 2 in Seattle. As Kara Bajema will initiate the serve for the Huskies out of the timeout. That one is down. Tyra Rogers. Not a lot of kills for UCLA so far in this match. They're actually hitting just .026.
Well, UCLA
needed one there.
Exactly. Oh, with only 9 kills for the entire team in these first 2 sets. Contrast that to Washington, who has 22. Just that tells you how each team has been able to find their offensive rhythm.
Kylie Miller, the 5'11" freshman setter, with the service error, so it'll go back to Washington. And they give it right back, Bailey Tanner. We're back in for Washington, Destiny July.
And I think for UCLA, they really need to get back there and take some chances behind the service line. Really try to disrupt the passing for Washington, who's having an easy time of it, running whatever offense they want.
You saw it there. Lucky to get that one over the net, but then UCLA cannot capitalize on the free ball.
Well, and I think that's the problem when you're down and you're really struggling. When you do get that swing, you feel like you kind of have to take a rip at it to make sure you get a kill, because you don't have that many opportunities. And so right now UCLA kind of forcing it maybe where they shouldn't, but they feel like it's their only option.
Oh, nice job. Oh, what a hustle play by the Washington defense. And that has been the story of the match so far. A ball that looks like it should be down 10 out of 10 times. The pancake from Chrissy Jones to get it up, and Washington gets the point.
Keegan Cook off the bench, trying to get his team to keep that emotion going, get the crowd involved. He wants to make sure he can score as many points as possible before UCLA wakes up and makes those changes.
And in the middle to A.V. Neese for another Washington point. Bailey Tanner, give her credit. She's doing a fabulous job of finding the open player for easy points.
Well, and she's pushing it. You could see Nice kind of running away from the setter to get out from right in front of her blocker.
So that'll be Courtney Schwann getting the assist out to Christy Jones. And another Washington kill. They are playing at a really high level tonight.
Well, and you know, it's interesting in volleyball. It's like a roller coaster, right? You ride things where it's easy and things are going your way, and then you have to slog through where things aren't going your way. And so for Washington to play well for such a long period of time, you can sense in Keegan Cook that urgency of let's score as many points as we can before that momentum starts to shift. And so far, they've done an excellent job. They've been able to play at that high level for 1.5 sets.
A 7-point Washington lead after the side out. And one of the best players in this conference, Taylor Formico, back to serve, the 5'7" senior. Set outside to Scambray. And the overpass. Tia Scambray goes long, no touch. Excuse me, there is a touch. Or was it a net? I think UCLA in the net, so Washington will get the point.
Yeah, well, and everything going Washington's way right now. It's incredibly frustrating for UCLA, but, you know, Coach Seeley has worked with them all season of not worrying about the score and even relishing playing poorly and trying to find a way to work through even when things aren't going your way. And so UCLA is not going to give up. They're not going to roll over. They're going to keep slogging, fighting, and waiting for things to turn their way.
It's interesting philosophy by Mike Seeley, the coach for UCLA. He says every match there's going to be points, and he's absolutely right, where there's adversity. And he teaches more to that adversity, how to deal with that and keep pushing through that. It's absolutely dead on of if your team cannot handle adversity and find a way to win when you're not playing well, then you're not going to win when it really matters.
Right, but this one probably the biggest challenge of the season, to not play well, and especially to have a team like Washington who's playing so well. It's a huge mountain to climb.
That one Cara Bajema getting a piece of on the block for Washington, her and Christy Jones.
And when you force a team into one option passing, then the block has an easier time to get outside, to set up, and be well formed.
Good quick pass there, set there, and UCLA able to hammer it down.
Jenny Frager using those long arms and just attacking around her middle blocker.
Jenny Frager, one of 6 seniors on this UCLA roster that have never won here in Seattle. Good job by Jordan Anderson to get that one up. Tipped off, so UCLA will get the point. And they are within striking distance, now down by just 6. And Keegan Cook doesn't want to let it get any closer, so he will call timeout. Saturday, tune into Pac-12 Network for a football doubleheader. First at 1. There ain't nothing civil about this war as Oregon and Oregon State battle it out for statewide bragging rights. Then you can cap it off as Stanford closes their season against Rice at 5. Coverage begins Saturday at noon on Pac-12 Network, or watch on the Pac-12 Now app. That Civil War this year is going to be a good one between the Ducks and the Beavers. You see there, Cassie Strickland, last year one of the standouts for the Washington Huskies on your left. And I see the Kelsey Plum name tag. Oh, there she is right there looking at her phone. Oh, she's getting ready to take a selfie. Kelsey Plum had 27 points last night. Katie Collier, another senior, to her left. 2 players that are part of the Washington Huskies run to the Final Four a year ago and ranked 15th in the nation. And that right there is hilarious.
I'm sure she's going to love that.
She is going to get it. Good selfie action, Kelsey. Hey, you can do what you want when you lead the nation in scoring. She has been red hot to start this season. And so have her volleyball sisters here at the University of Washington as they dominated set number 1, winning 25-11. And then jumped out to another big lead here in set number 2, but UCLA closing it now to just 6 points. And Washington better be careful. UCLA has won 11 of their last 12 matches, and they're not going to go away.
And they're just starting to wake up and kind of start to really find their rhythm, find their way to poke holes in the defense for Washington. Coach Cook off the bench, he's well aware of that. He can sense that momentum shift as UCLA continues to get point after point as they work their way back in this second set.
You can feel Washington trying to be a little bit more careful right now, and that one long.
Well, and that's the key right there. And so when UCLA's knocking at the door for Washington, they have got to shut it down. They've got to really play very clean and consistent, not make a ton of errors.
Bailey Tanner out to Scambray, who's been so good in this match. And Jordan Anderson able to tip it right over the block. And nobody there for Washington, so UCLA creeping back now, down by only 3, and you can feel the crowd here getting restless.
Jordan Anderson with a nice tip right over the block. And then a very important miss right there for UCLA as they were just working their way back, all the momentum on their side. That one hurts.
Zana Munoz, the 5'10 sophomore, trying to be aggressive with the serve and instead gets the error, so Washington with the side out. Riley Bushler. Washington blocked 2 times in a row there. And not for the third, though. Riley Bushler.
Good transition work for Bushler. You can see her get up, go back 3 different times, and finally finishing that up with a good swing down the line. The defense, you could tell from Washington, clearly expecting her to go cross court.
Bushler with 1,051 kills entering tonight's match. 27th best in UCLA history. So many great hitters have come through that program, and UCLA with another point, down by only 2.
Couple tight sets to the outside, and the defense now for UCLA really getting in there, reading the ball, and they're winning those transition plays.
And Bailey Tanner going over on the second touch. Good decision as UCLA not ready.
Coach is off the bench talking to Tanner right before that play, telling her it's time. It's time to use that very powerful arm and become an offensive weapon yourself.
Bailey Tanner, 6'1", and she's got hitting in her background. She was a hitter last year. This year in the 5'1", only setting. That's a rare opportunity to get it over the net.
But what that does is not only get a point, but it allows you now as a setter, the blocking and the defense have to respect you. And so that opens up everybody else on the outside.
And Bailey Tanner looking good on that one, but the net violation, and UCLA now has a chance to tie this set up. And she'll get that one down.
3 quick balls. All she needed from the sideline was, hey, maybe you should be a little more active offensively, and she's all over that, showing she's got a ton of shots and that ability to become an offensive outlet as well.
The block there by Avi Neese and Chrissy Jones. So their defense creating a point there.
And Avi Neese in great position, really pressing over the net. She got over very far, especially with that left hand as she dropped it into the seam.
See a huge ankle brace on her left ankle. She spent some time out for Washington, but doesn't look like it's bothering her here tonight. And another point for Washington. They're hitting .431. And UCLA will take a timeout. They had crawled back into this one, but Washington extending it back out to a 4-point lead.
Washington in a great scoring rotation as well, and so UCLA really wants to kind of ice that server.
Washington coming in ranked 7th in the nation, UCLA at 8th in the nation. RPI They're 11-12. These two teams very even, but so far Washington has been the one that has had the upper hand in this match. And don't forget what's on the line tonight. The winner of this match will secure a share of the Pac-12 championship. And for UCLA, it surprises me. They have not won a Pac-12 championship since 1999.
Yeah.
It seems hard to believe they won the national championship just a few years ago in 2011 with Michael Sealy as head coach.
Right, it just speaks to this Pac-12 conference and the quality of teams. I think most importantly, I think both these teams want to win the conference title, but they also want that automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, and that's on the line as well. And every player, although conference so important, these teams prepare for the NCAA tournament. They look ahead to the NCAAs. Where are they going to be? How are they going to be positioned? Because they want to finish in December as high as they can.
Well, Washington coming out of the timeout, trying to extend this 4-point lead in set number 2. Good look at Courtney Schwann, already 10 kills in this match, hitting almost 600.
Right, this is a good scoring rotation for UW, and they really want to score as much as possible, obviously, when Schwann is in the front row.
And an ace by Bailey Tanner.
Bailey Tanner, terrific server. You can see the bottom just drop out of that, and she puts it right in the seam, forcing UCLA into a miscommunication.
It's her 19th ace of the season for the junior. Big block there for Washington, but UCLA able to recover. Outside to Jones, but that one is wide. So Riley Bushler back to serve for UCLA. You might have heard of her dad. He played for the Chicago Bulls, Judd Bushler, back in the day. And he was an All-American volleyball player at Arizona and has helped coach not only his daughter, but many of these UCLA Bruins in the San Diego area. A very nice crowd here in Seattle at the University of Washington campus to watch this one, a lower bowl sellout, and it is packed. A lot of people in the upper deck as well. Haven't heard the exact attendance numbers, but they love that, the big block by Washington.
Well, as UW continues to play at that high level, the crowd can be a bigger and bigger factor.
You see him getting up and over the net. That was Scambray and Nice combining. That went off the head of Bailey Tanner from Tori Van Winden, the 6'3" freshman from Napa.
Maybe Nice playing that ball, but Washington coming back. That was a big run a few plays ago before that timeout to get them right back close to finishing this off.
Maybe Nice recovering. Out to Anderson. And a net violation by Washington. So it'll be a point for UCLA. And they still have some life, down by 4, 22-18 here in set number 2. Both of these teams would love to host in the first couple of rounds of the NCAA tournament. Washington at 11, UCLA at 12. The top 16 seeds will be able to host, of course, Stanford at number 9, although Stanford one game back of these teams at 13-5 in Pac-12 play. A great match between UCLA and Stanford a couple weeks ago. Went to 5 sets, and UCLA was able to get it done. A big one for the Bruins.
Well, and I think Stanford, Washington, and UCLA playing very well down the stretch into November. And so as they look ahead to the NCAAs, like you said, they want to be home as much as possible. You want to host those first and second rounds. And so how you finish off this season is going to determine that for those 3 teams.
UCLA in the Sweet 16 last year. Washington in the Elite 8. Courtney Schwann, a big reason why she was a standout last year, and she has been a standout this season for the Huskies. And tonight, same old, same old. She is really good.
10 kills, hitting .588. Courtney Schwann on the outside has been so important to this Washington team, because not only does she get kills when they're in system, but more importantly, out of transition when they're out of system. She's able to take a play that might not be great and turn it into a kill.
She's got a great story. A local kid, went to Bellarmine Prep, won a couple of state championships. Her mother, Paula, played volleyball at Lewis and Clark State College, and she's just a gym rat volleyball player. When she was 8 months pregnant with Courtney, she was still playing volleyball, and she took me to every single tournament in the carriage. So Courtney Schwann knows nothing else than volleyball, and she loves it. Sometimes you get kids, they don't want anything with their parents, they don't want to have anything to do with them, but Courtney getting coached by her mom, and clearly she's a good coach by the way that Courtney plays. That's Anderson off hands for the UCLA point.
Fantastic swing from Anderson. Anytime you take a set coming from that right back corner, you're forced to take your eyes off the court, and Anderson able to keep it high, hit it deep, and get the kill.
And a mistake there, a rare one from Bailey Tanner. The pass was a bit off, so she had to track that one down and could not get there. So UCLA getting the point and within 2. Better pass there, out to Jones, but Bushler able to dig that one. Bit of a scramble drill here for both sides, but that one by Tori Van Winden goes in the stand, so a big kill there from the freshman.
Big point. You could hear the crowd. They knew that was big. This is the time that UCLA can make their move to tie this up.
And if UCLA can somehow win this set, they would be thrilled as they have tied it up. Well, they have not played well, and yet they're right here tied.
Exactly, fighting their way through, slogging through when things weren't going their way. Waiting until about halfway through the second set to get things going.
Van Winden off hands, and UCLA has taken the lead and 2 points away from somehow getting a win here in set number 2.
UCLA swinging high, using that block over and over again, and a great scoring rotation right here with Formico.
That's Chrissy Jones, and that one is long. So UCLA now with set point here on Washington's home floor, a place they have not won since 2003. That's 13 games or matches in a row UCLA has lost. Outside to Anderson, and that is down, and the Bruins have done it. They did not play well up until the last few minutes, and they've got to be thrilled that they were able to get a split here in the first 2 sets.
Unbelievable, but Coach Celia said we wait for our moment and keep working through, and I'm sure that Washington knew at some point or another UCLA would wake up.
Well, the crowd here has gone silent. They knew Washington in complete and total command in set number 2, but UCLA able to scratch out a win in set number 2, and the head coach for the University of Washington, Keegan Cook, putting the headsets on. Coach, I didn't think you could play much better in set number 1 and about half of set number 2. I suppose it's a little discouraging you couldn't win that set number 2. What happened?
Yeah, I got stuck in a row there and used all our timeouts and tried a few different formations and got a few chances, but didn't get good passes or good sets or good swings. So it'll be a longer night. That's okay.
This match kind of settling into the battle you expected. What does it take to score and to win against a UCLA team that's playing well?
Yeah, you got to swing hard, but you have to hit in too. I think we made quite a few unforced hitting errors in that set. I'd like to see us swing at their hands a little bit more.
Hey, Keegan, thanks so much for your time. Good luck the rest of the night.
Thanks, guys.
That is Keegan Cook. The Washington Huskies dominated in set number 1, dominated the start of set number 2, but UCLA rallying from back to get a 25-22 win in set number 2, and we are all even. You don't want to go anywhere. We are tied at 1 set apiece with the Pac-12 title on the line. We just caught up with head coach Michael Seeley a few moments ago, asking him his thoughts on this match. All right, Coach, well, set number 1, Washington dominated. Set number 2, you got down, but you rallied back. Are you pleased?
Yeah, I didn't expect to win the second set. It was mostly just trying to play our game. I think, obviously, we weren't at our best. Ball control wasn't great, just a little bit wrapped up in the emotions of the game and a little bit frantic. Ran into a buzzsaw early on and never recovered. So I was hoping to just get a little momentum, but I'll take it.
Coach, you talk a lot about failure management. What did you learn in those first set and that last half of the second set? How can you find a way to win against Washington?
A lot of matches like this. It's not. Sometimes teams will execute in these situations. Sometimes it's like I said, it's failure management. Can you keep your mistakes low? Can you emotionally be okay when you're not playing great? I think every timeout we had was like, hey, let's just be okay with this, and slowly it came around.
Well, they certainly did, Coach. Thanks so much for your time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And so here we go for set number 3, a Pac-12 title on the line. The winner of this match will secure at least a share of the Pac-12 title. And right away, UCLA getting a point from Taylor Van Winden. She's had some really nice moments in this match so far.
Well, and I think it's interesting to see how these two teams will come out of that break, where Washington felt like they had those first 2 as just easy wins, and here they are all tied up. How can they respond? Are they willing to come out and fight? Where it was super easy in the first 2 sets, now they're in for a battle for every single point. Are they up for it? And for UCLA, they've got to be excited that they're all tied up. Do they have the ability to emotionally come out and take it to this Washington team?
A big hit there from Tia Scambray.
Scambray taking advantage, and we heard Coach Cook say before, against a team like UCLA, you've got to hit the ball and you've got to hit it hard.
At UCLA, 6th in the nation in digs, led by Taylor Formico. Uncharacteristically, Washington able to get a lot of tips going in the first set. And another hard hit ball, this time from Courtney Schwann.
Well, and I think that's interesting. We saw in the last half of that second set that because Washington kind of got out of system a little bit, they were forced into maybe a couple free balls, some down balls, some tips. But with that, UCLA was able to transition those and turn them into kills. And so against this team that's so good defensively, Washington has got to try to not only stay in system, but continue to attack even when they may be out of system.
The big block set up there by Badgema and Scambray.
The block is something that for Washington was very good in the first set. They had 5 team blocks so far, and so the block is something that they want to keep going as well.
And Badgema has been very good, 5th in the Pac-12 in blocks, and she's just a true freshman playing middle for the first time in her life. Was an outside hitter up in Linden Christian. But boy, has she made a nice transition over that middle spot. This is Taylor Van Winden for UCLA. Blocked by UCLA, but a good scramble drill from the Huskies. That one is off. But a net violation on the Dogs, so UCLA will get it anyway.
And this is kind of the match we were expecting. Here we are in the third set, and we're tied up 3-3. That's what we expected coming in, just that back and forth battle between the two top teams in the conference.
Beautiful serve there by Taylor Van Winden. It is an ace right in a spot between Christy Jones and the libero McPherson. Trying to go to the same spot, but this time McPherson there. The slide play to Badgema, but the block for UCLA is set.
Riley Bushler right there, tracking her hitter, getting up and over, sealing off that tape.
So the momentum on UCLA's side here to start set number 3. That's Scambray. And that one is wide for a UCLA point.
I think the battle for Washington will be not only maintaining, hitting hard and swinging, but keeping their errors down. That's a fine line, and you got to figure out when to take that swing and when to keep it in play.
The joust won by Bailey Tanner, but the point nearly won by UCLA, but somehow Washington able to get there. But not twice, as what looked like a sure UCLA point indeed ended up going that way, and Keegan Cook wants no part of this start. His team dropping behind by 4 points as we are tied at 1 set apiece.
Brought to you by watching Pac-12 Los Angeles.
We are tied at 1 set apiece. It is Pac-12 volleyball presented by Tachikara. There's 2 matches remain, including this one for both UCLA and Washington here on Spike Night. The Pac-12 title on the line, and so far leading the way, Tori Van Winden and Courtney Schwann both getting it done offensively.
Yeah, great for UCLA, who has 6 seniors on the team. To have a freshman like Tori Van Winden come out just bodes well for the future of this program. And for UW, of course, Courtney Schwann leading the way as usual.
Not a single senior starts for the Washington Huskies. So this team will remain intact moving on. But UCLA, you mentioned it, 6 seniors. You better believe there's a sense of urgency there. And there was a sense of urgency from the senior there, Jenny Frager, part of that block set by UCLA.
Frager gets outside, reads that well. Perfectly formed block, and Washington struggling a little bit as they continue to add on to their unforced errors.
UCLA on a roll, and that one is long, but they say there was a touch, so Washington will get the point and the side out.
They really needed that play, specifically Scambray, who had been struggling to keep that ball in the court. That was a big kill for her.
Yeah, 8 kills now for Scambray, but 5 errors. And that one is wide by Bushler and no touch, so in Washington point.
That set tight to the net. Bushler was trying to just go for some hands on that play, but there was no chance of getting it.
Good serve, touch, and net from Scambray. And a good pancake up there by the libero, McPherson. The block set, but UCLA, another hustle play. They're so good at keeping that ball alive, and they tried hard on that point, but Washington will get the point as that one goes wide.
See a couple digs here. The great defensive effort, keeping that play going, and UCLA just missing that sideline. But interesting to see Washington go to a couple roll shots mixed in there.
3 straight Washington points. But it won't be 4, as Bailey Tanner had success with that in set number 2, the dump over on touch 2, but UCLA was ready.
Well, and Bushler, watch her tracking her setter, knowing that that's an option. Great heads-up play.
Nice pass and the slide play to Bajema, down.
Well, and there's the thing for Bailey Tanner to say, hey, if Riley Bushler's in on me when I'm tipping the ball, that means she's not outside blocking on the slide. And so good heads-up play to call a slide, open up that ball.
Taking what the defense gave them, and it is a Washington point. It's Kyra Rogers. Nice up by Tia Scambray. Look at the hustle from UCLA. They can't get it over, but they refuse to die on any play.
Terrific effort.
Terrific effort, and time again, that has paid off.
Well, and it's so fun because defensive effort on the floor raises the level of the game at such a high level. I think everyone ends up hitting well, serving better. If you can get after it on the floor, it challenges and changes the whole game.
Out of the middle, Avi Neese, but a pretty up there by Van Winden. And interesting, that would have been a kill maybe against every other team. UCLA leads this conference in digs. Washington doesn't get the point. UCLA comes right back and does.
Well, I think as UCLA just plays that scrappy defense, it gets frustrating. When you're up there hitting over and over again and nothing seems to fall, usually you're forced into making an unforced error.
And that's Courtney Schwann with another kill.
And that particular rotation is where they like to bring Schwann in. You can see her coming well inside the court. And she wants to get inside the middle blockers and absolutely hammer that cross court. It didn't work on the first one, but it worked that second time.
Out to Rogers, and that one hitting the antenna for the Washington point, and they rallied. They were down 8-3, but Washington able to come from behind here and tie this up at 10.
This is kind of more like that volleyball match we were expecting. Up and down, a roller coaster, trying to ride out the momentum shifts and keep your tempo the same.
Owen on the net. Washington get another crack at it. And Chrissy Jones and Avies there for the roof.
Jones and East ready and waiting, in sync perfectly. See Jones with that right hand taking away that line and getting the seam with her left.
Almost her head. Did you see how far she was over the net? Chrissy Jones was getting up on that play. Courtney Schwann mishit that one, and it'll go down as a UCLA block.
Well, an interesting choice for Schwann, and you can see her shake her head after she landed. She knew that that is not the play you want to take a big swing at. The set heading towards the net, almost into the block before the hitter hits it. That's when you just keep it in play.
And an ace from UCLA. That's Riley Bushler. In the middle of Jones, but really didn't take a big swing at that one. And Courtney Schwann with no blockers up. That's automatic.
Good heads-up play for Washington. Chrissy Jones taking that dump and setting. Schwann back there to serve.
Unconventional there in the middle to Claire Felix. Didn't look like it was that good a timing, but they got the result they were looking for.
A definite quick set from Miller trying to get that to Felix, but that set very, very low. So great play for Felix, even just to keep it in.
That's Jordan Anderson with a big swing. And the UCLA point as they now lead by 2 in a back and forth match.
I think UCLA really trying to focus on Schwann from the service line, put some pressure on her so that she has to take that huge load, and hopefully that will take her out of her hitting rhythm as well.
Ms. Cambray going off hands for the Washington point.
That's a huge play right there, not only for that point, but because that was UCLA's best scoring rotation. Back there with Formico, she had served in set 2. She's the one that brought them back in and got them that win.
Good cover by the UCLA defense. They don't get the point, but once again, it's a hard out in baseball. You just keep fouling things off, and eventually you get a good pitch to hit. And that's what they do. They just keep getting the ball up. A big swing there by Felix. Now that was some good timing.
And very quick, you can see Felix wanting to get involved offensively, but that ball, she needs to ensure it's up to the net in good position, and the defense for Washington not ready. They're back on their heels.
So UCLA a 1-point lead and the serve. This is Ryan Chandler. Husky fans know her dad oh so well. Chris Chandler, the Husky quarterback in the mid-'80s, and a 17-year pro in the NFL at that quarterback spot. So Christy Jones, the best server for Washington. Puts one right at Van Winden, but they were able to recover. And a net violation on UCLA. So Washington battles back from a couple of points down here to now take a 1-point lead.
And that's a missed opportunity for UCLA. They had that dig. They were able to pop that up, hopefully transition and get the best server for Washington out of there.
The joust at the net. Once again, McPherson with the pancake up. But Chandler there for the Bruins. Great rally. Great rally there, and it's UCLA winning the point and the momentum.
The momentum and the emotion, and you can hear the crowd get involved, and then they're quiet because everything goes UCLA's way. Those long rallies are exhausting. You can see everyone breathing hard. So it takes a lot out of you, more so than the quick ones, to win it or lose it.
Christy Jones out of the middle.
Nice play from Washington to come right out of that and get the ball back. That was a huge first ball kill, and that's something they want. They don't want to extend the rally. They want to get up there and attack.
Chandler out to Bushler with a big swing. Washington's defense there. Out to Schwann, and that one is long for the Huskies, so the side out to UCLA. Courtney Schwann, another mishit on that one. You don't see that very often.
You don't. It's interesting to watch. It's almost as if Schwann looks a little tired, and I don't know that it's physically tiring, but to be served over and over and over again, it's emotionally exhausting, and she's been getting that serve consistently, and so when she gets to the front row, it takes a little out of you.
Well, a big smile there as she goes up and gets the point.
Yeah, as she wins that joust, she shows she's not tired physically, for sure.
The one-handed joust. She doesn't go up with two hands. She goes up with one hand and gets it to go. Good hustle play there by Schwann to track that one down. That's Kyra Rogers with a big swing. And we are tied at 18. This is more of the match that we expected. Set one, Huskies dominated. Set two, they jump out to a 6-point lead. They're ahead 14-8, but UCLA rallied back and stole one in set number two. And here we are in set number three, tied at 18 with a Pac-12 title on the line.
That play again for Schwann, one of her favorites, but because she had to pass, because she is stuck passing, she lost her rhythm on the approach, and it wasn't quite what she expected.
Yeah, they are definitely going after her. But that time she goes off the hands, and it trickles down.
Well, if you look at Schwann, she had to pass that ball in the middle of the court. She roll-shotted it, I think, from her elbow, and is able to have that lucky bounce off the block.
It's amazing. You miss hit it like that. Shouldn't go count for a point. Sometimes you swing as hard as you can, and it's just wide. It's a game of inches. Yeah, exactly. So UCLA with a 1-point lead, and Bushler back to serve. And right back is Courtney Schwann.
Having to pass and hit again. Clearly UCLA wants to have her do as much as possible. She shows she can do it all.
And she's a very good passer. It's not that they're attacking the weak link. I think that they just want to make sure that she is having to transition quickly all the time from passer to hitter. And that was a hammer kill right there.
There's pass in system for UCLA. Very quick, big seam in the block. And talking about Schwann, no, she's a fantastic passer, but I think the more you put on someone, a bigger load to carry, it's just a little heavier.
And she has done a lot tonight. The block there for Washington, at the cover by UCLA. Tracked down by Bushler, but this one's going to be tough, and that's outside the antenna. And a big point for Washington to tie this thing up. You felt like if UCLA went up 22-20, pretty big hole to climb out of. But once again, we are tied here in set number 3. They are feeding the middle. Felix has been effective of late. Free ball for Washington. And that's a hammer from the freshman again, Van Winden.
Nice set from Formico all the way to the outside. Van Winden makes that adjustment as it's a little outside, but keeps that in play.
So many players on both rosters with parents that played collegiate sports. Her mom, an All-American outside hitter at Cal Poly, and her dad played basketball there for the freshman Tori Van Winden. We mentioned it, that's Ryan Chandler, her dad, a Husky great. Chris Chandler, the quarterback in the 80s, mid-80s, 84 to 87. And the Husky point there to tie us up once again in set number 3.
So then how will these players perform, not just playing well, not just playing down, but now under pressure? Backs against the wall, 3 big points.
And Washington's best server back, and that one looked like it would have been long, but Formico doesn't want to take a chance, and it's a free ball for Washington. And Scambray hammers that one down, and this crowd is going nuts after that play.
Washington able to transition, run a great pass set to the outside, a big hole to hit into for Scambray.
One of the best executed plays of the night for Washington. And that one is wide. So Washington comes here in set number 3 at their first set points, and UCLA coach Michael Seeley calling a timeout. Doesn't want to just give this one to Washington at this point. See if his team can get a side out. This match has been everything that we thought it was going to be so far. A little bit of everything, and both teams taking turns looking dominant.
Definitely, and I think that battle back and forth, you saw Coach Seeley call that timeout. Very calm. He's going to talk to his team about, hey, it's 1 point. Come out, we just need one side out. We're right back in this. Play the point in front of you. For Washington, I mean, if you look at this set 3, it's been a battle, and it hasn't really been pretty on both sides. Neither team hitting at 200, and it's been a slog. It's been a defensive effort, and that's kind of what we expected.
Isn't defense pretty?
So fun. I mean, the crowd definitely getting involved, and effort is shown on your defense, and both these teams really putting it out there on the floor.
Well, the Washington Huskies led the Pac-12 in attendance this season. Over 2,200 fans. They've got well over that. There's at least 5, if not 6,000 fans here today. It was a lower bowl sellout. Alaska Airlines Arena holds 10,000 fans. A great crowd on hand to see if the Washington Huskies can win their 3rd Pac-12 title in the last 4 years. They were an Elite 8 team a year ago, and trying to head into the NCAA tournament on a roll. They've won 5 matches in a row, but UCLA has actually been even hotter. They've won 11 of 12. And it all comes down to tonight. And that one is long, and the Huskies win set number 3 to take a 2-1 lead in this match. A crucial juncture for Washington, down 21-20, and we're able to tie it up at 21, and now they get set number 3. This is a good one, a Pac-12 title on the line. Come on back.
Friday, it's a full afternoon of basketball. First at 4.
Are leading to better ways to care for athletes and get them back in the game.
This Pac-12 women's volleyball match is presented by Tachikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. And brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. Nice shot of the Space Needle, about 15 minutes away from the University of Washington campus in downtown Seattle. And this place is absolutely rocking. Alaska Airlines Arena, what a great atmosphere. Not just for the Washington Huskies, but playing in this atmosphere for UCLA. This is what you love. So much on the line tonight with the Pac-12 championship. And you see Washington hitting a bit better than UCLA overall, but I think you also have to account for the fact they were red hot in the first set. 16 kills and just 1 error in set number 1, and since then things have really evened out.
Right, it's settled in for sure, and looking at the stats overall doesn't really tell the story of this particular match, but what does stand out are the digs. Obviously both these teams really ramping up their defense. The blocks for Washington have gotten them some big time points at just the right time.
So Washington winning set number 3, battling from 5 points down to get that and take a 2-1 advantage in this one. And immediately UCLA going middle. They've had success there. That's Jenny Frager, the 6'5" senior.
I think this fourth set and the match entirely is going to come down to that serve and pass that we talked about. As these teams have settled in and kind of clued in on each other, like we mentioned, this is the first time these two teams have met this season. They haven't played each other before, and so they're learning as they go. They're making those adjustments. And so to be able to pass and stay in system allows you to craft an offense.
That's Chandler out to Bushler. Just had to tip that one over though. And the slide play out of the middle to Bajema is good.
And as the pass and defense for Washington continues to get up to the net, they can really utilize the entire team and not just focus on Schwann on the outside.
Bushler with a huge swing. And a great up by the Washington defense. But not twice. That one not hit as hard, but hit in the right spot for Frager.
Well, a very smart play from Frager, because the set was taking her, if you look, cross court, and she's going to end up going wrist away from her blocker, showing that she's got great court sense and she can see what's in front of her.
Out of the middle to Jones. She's been really effective with that today, but that one never over the top of the net.
It's really going to be interesting to see, how this fourth set goes, because every single set has been completely different for both these teams.
It's a good point. There really hasn't been a theme to this one. That went off the head of Bajema, but tracked down on a good hustle play. And Schwann will take a swing at it. Out of the middle, Frager, but it's Cara Bajema and Bailey Tanner there for the block.
Great for Bajema to finish that off, but what I like about that play is if you look at this play, the pursuit and the terrific set is everyone bettered the ball. It should have been an out-of-system play and a free ball. Schwann is able to put some pretty good heat on that, and as a result, the defense can line up and get that point.
And I take that back. That was a solo block by Bajema. Bailey Tanner not able to even get off the ground. And so they call that a block and not off antenna.
Well, a tough play right there, as you could see that set going well into the net. Schwann knows she doesn't have a ton to work with, so what she's going to try to do is just use the block out of bounds, push it right into the blocker's hands and into the antenna. And looking at that, it's hard to tell actually if it hit the antenna first or the blocker, but Washington gets the call.
Kyra Rogers with a big swing, but dug nicely by the Washington D. And another kill off hands for Courtney Schwann.
And again, Schwann able to do something with that tight set that's going towards those blockers. She gets on it very quickly, has to hit it fast in order to not get blocked.
Out of the middle to Frager, and that one is on the line and down.
Jenny Frager does such an excellent job turning the ball. When you're in the middle and you're running that quick one, watch how she knows she's got just one blocker in front of her, so she's just going to go around her. And using those long arms, the smart play, she can just attack angle to angle.
Well, that's her best friend, Ryan Chandler. They've played together since they were in high school. So that connection, when it's all about timing between the setter and the middle blocker, they certainly have that and have had it for years. And Washington looking for a piece of that one. Courtney Schwann, pretty animated, feeling that one was touched.
Really wanted to get that play. It's a tough one to see. She was definitely out of system, not very comfortable on that approach.
So we are tied once again, 5-all here in set number 4. And a beautiful play there to Bushler.
Bushler using the block again. She does a nice job hitting high. She never really tries to go for that. Well, she tried to go for seam there, but she usually keeps it higher, not like that low hammer. And that's such a smart play because if you can attack those hands, then you're going to be more successful.
In the middle to Nice. She can't get the point on the swing, but she will on the block. As a freshman middle, Keegan Cook, the head coach for Washington, saying that Avi Nice, one of the fastest blockers, the ability to pick his system up, the swing block, he's been really pleased with how she's such a quick learner. That ball down for UCLA.
Claire Felix falling hard on that play, the 6'6" senior, but she is up quick and back in it.
You could hear the crowd go a little bit quiet. Looked like she might be injured, but thankfully she's able to pop right back up. In the middle to Jones. And that one catching just the side of Bushler at the last moment. Looked like that one was going to be wide.
I think Bushler was trying to get out of the way and then it hit her. She's very frustrated about that play.
And so we are tied again at 7.
And I think when we battle in these sets, it comes down to which rotation are you going to be in at the end of the match. And both these teams have very strong rotations that they score a lot of their points in. And so it's going to be interesting to see if we stay tied where these teams end up.
An ace by Courtney Schwann. That's her 17th of the season. In the middle to Felix. And a net violation on Washington, so an easy point going to the Bruins.
Right, and as we talk about those rotations, UCLA getting into one of their best scoring rotations with Taylor Formico back there to serve. She is the player that got her team back into that second set.
Chrissy Jones, long, wanting to touch, but it will not come, so UCLA getting the point.
So we get a good look at that swing here, just missing that back line.
This time out to Scambray, and that one is down. So the rotation where UCLA wants to do some damage gets 1 point on the board.
Well, and I think not only does UCLA serve well in that rotation, but with Schwann in the back row for Washington, that's a lot of their offensive power and consistency not really available. And so if Scambray can get something going, that really helps out Washington.
Tori Van Winden with the kill. So a lot of new Bruins coming in on this rotation off the bench. Interesting, UCLA switching their system around. Washington goes 5-1. The same time this year, UCLA goes 6-2.
Well, usually Washington, a team that loves to have two setters on the floor. They traditionally run that 6-2, but this year it just didn't work out that way. And the same with UCLA. They really like to run a 5-1, but this year all the hitters were in place, the passers, and so they decided to go with a 6-2. So you really have to decide based on the personnel you have on the floor.
Good hustle, the attempt there by Scambray. So Tori Van Winden, the 6'3" freshman from Napa, California, Vintage High School, is back. She's been the Pac-12 Freshman of the Week 3 times this season. Bajema going up. And that's Bushler, and that one right off Chrissy Jones and down for the kill. And a 2-point UCLA lead.
Couple missed opportunities there for both UCLA and Washington on that play, but UCLA is able to come right back and get that. And that's a big point for them as they work to build some momentum, quiet this crowd down, and kind of push their way towards 20.
And a pass that wasn't at its intended target. Bailey Tanner having to go over on the second touch, and she makes the good decision right here. Even though it's tipped, she does get the point. Washington block there. And for a second time on the play, that time for the point. The Washington block has been effective today.
Bajema and Tanner getting out there. Watch the swing block and how Bailey Tanner is going to take away that line with her right hand.
It's a luxury to have a 6'1" setter. A good up there by Shane McPherson. And Courtney Schwann getting that one to go on the line. Perfect placement.
That transition kill on the outside. Schwann puts it right deep in that corner. Defensively, so difficult to stop.
A good block there, but that one off hands and down. And we are tied once again in set number 4. Pretty roll shot by Courtney Schwann.
Well, and what Schwann does so well is she doesn't telegraph that it's a roll shot. She's going to approach just as hard. She's going to put her arm back to swing just as hard, and then at the last second, she's going to take something off it, and that keeps the defense from reading that too easily.
Avi Neese with a big swing. She's known for her defense, but providing a punch there. And we have come to a break. Washington now with a 2-point lead, trying to win a Pac-12 championship here tonight. It's on the line.
Saturday, first at 1 on the Pac-12 Now app.
The State Farm right combination here tonight between UCLA and Washington. It is Courtney Schwann and Tia Scambray.
The outside hitters for Washington combined for 33 kills so far in this match, and they've been responsible for a ton of offense as the passes haven't quite been up to the net to get everyone involved. That's a lot of pressure on the outsides, and they're definitely coming up big.
Look at this match from Courtney Schwann, 21 kills. She's hitting .381, and they have served her consistently here tonight. Nice defense there by UCLA to keep that one alive. Out to Schwann. And UCLA asking, and the up official saying there was a touch.
They're asking the block or the defense, where was the touch, because UCLA struggled to see, and on the block for sure it looked way too high, but defensively as well. We'll get a good look here. We can see if there's a touch. Definitely no touch there. Now, there could have been a player in the net, but the up official called touch on the ball. So that's an interesting call, and at a critical point in this match. So UCLA definitely wants to contest this a little bit.
Michael Seeley,
huge,
sending the official over to have a conversation. And the call will stand. And Michael Seeley asking, who is the touch on? And rightfully so. There is definitely no touch on the block. We don't have the angle if there was a...
Well, there definitely is a net from UCLA, but that wasn't the call, so that's
Correct.
not really the issue.
And Washington capitalizes. They get the point to go up 3 with a little controversy, and they come right back with another Courtney Schwann kill. She's got 22 kills now.
Well, and interesting to see how do you bounce back after a deflating call that, you know, maybe should have gone your way. And that's huge as a volleyball player. You have to be able to just move on to the next point, maintain your high level of play.
Good up there by Courtney Schwann, just quick reaction. Pushed out to Kyra Rogers. Again to Schwann, and UCLA can't do anything with that one. Kill number 23 for Courtney Schwann.
You know, it's interesting as we get a good look at the swing, how much of a cut shot it was inside. Just a beautiful shot. You could hear the crowd, the audible, oh wow, that was fantastic. Great placement from Courtney Schwann.
Washington with a 2-1 set lead, and now an 18-13 5-point lead here in set number 4. And Washington, with a win here today, would guarantee a share of the Pac-12 championship, and they have much more they would like to accomplish, as does UCLA, 24-4. They were undefeated heading into Pac-12 play, still ranked 11th in the RPI. What kind of a seed do you expect Washington to get if they can get a win here today and then a match in Pullman on Saturday?
Well, I think it'll definitely be high, and it'll be interesting to see how this weekend ends up, because you'd like to think you know what's going to happen, but there's still a lot of matches to be played in the nation, not just in the Pac-12 conference. So that will determine kind of how it shakes out as far as seeding and which region you get put in, because that makes a big difference as well.
I'll tell you what has made a big difference here today, and that has been this Washington crowd. They love volleyball here in Seattle. This program has been so consistent. 4 Final Fours, 2 Pac-12 championships in the last 3 years. They're trying to make it 3 and 4. They were an Elite 8 team a year ago. The expectations very high here for this program, and Keegan Cook in his second year has done a fabulous job taking over for Jim McLaughlin, as Washington on the precipice with a 5-point lead in set number 4 to win in another Pac-12 title. To Schwann with another roll shot over the top of the defense and down.
Here's why her roll shot works, however. Usually Schwann, we see her swing to the deep corner. She really likes to hit that back line, and so that's why the defense is set up there. For her to mix in those off-speed shots, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense because they don't know where to line up.
To Bushler, but the block there. I'll tell you, give credit to Avini. She gets the kill. She went from one side of the court to the other on that swing block and got hands on 2 different balls and then finishes.
It's interesting you saw that as well, because that's what I was looking at, that hard work to get off the net on that transition play, get back up, ready. Terrific set from Bailey Tanner, who takes her middle blocker, and Nice is rewarded for that extra effort.
I tell you, that tired me out just looking at it. She went one side to the other side and then got in transition and then went up for the kill.
The life of a middle.
The UCLA falling behind by 7 points here in set number 4 in Seattle. They have been red hot. They've won 11 of their last 12 matches. They are 23-5. They've had some big-time wins this year at Hawaii, at SC, a sweep against Stanford, just recently against Oregon, 9-2 against the top 25. That is impressive.
Well, and clearly this match, huge for both these teams, but both teams are going to look really good going into the NCAA tournament, regardless of this particular match. It's a big one in terms of Pac-12 and who gets the automatic bid, but both these teams have had a terrific season and look to go very far in the NCAA tournament.
Unfortunate for the fans, not only watching on the Pac-12 network, but those in here in attendance. This is the only time all season these two have met. So it comes down, these two teams started play in August. Obviously the Pac-12 play beginning in September, but after 18 matches, we're in match number 19, and these teams tied at 14-4. comes down to this one, and they only get to see each other one time. And UCLA, unfortunately for them, it's here in Seattle. And they get the side out of the timeout. So UCLA with some work to do, down by 6 points in set number 4. And the service error from Kylie Miller. And the crowd sensing right now that Washington can do something special here in 2016. Another kill from Courtney Schwann. You know, we talked about who is the Pac-12 Player of the Year. And Courtney Schwann, with her performance tonight in a battle between the top 2 teams, right now, this is a statement for that honor, in my opinion.
I totally agree. Right on. Courtney Schwann has been so huge in every respect, and this the biggest match of the season so far for this UW team.
Well, they still need 3 points, leading 22-15. Nothing has been decided yet in this match, although Washington has to be feeling pretty good about the position they've put themselves in. Courtney with the pass and then the kill. And unofficially, I have Courtney Schwann with 24 kills. An excellent performance. And the block by Chrissy Jones and Avi Neese, and the crowd is rising to their feet here in Seattle. They sense a win here against UCLA for the 14th year in a row. Washington Huskies have earned at least a share of the 2016 Pac-12 championship.
And in this match, we saw everything from playing at the top of their game to the lowest, to a battle, to defense, to offense, but Washington able to come through, and Coach Keegan Cook very excited to have earned this share in the Pac-12 title.
The big smile from Keegan Cook. You saw him a moment ago, a little emotion, putting the clipboard over his face. How about for Keegan Cook, his second year as a head coach? Oh yeah, all you've done is back-to-back Pac-12 champions. And check out this crowd right now. Courtney Schwann, congratulations. You were stellar tonight.
Thank you so much.
The MVP of this game and perhaps the MVP of the league. How fun was that to clinch the Pac-12 title on your home floor in front of a crowd like that, Courtney?
It's indescribable. It's so amazing. The energy in here right now is incredible.
Courtney, talk a little bit about how this match went up and down and over. How were you able to pull it through?
We pulled it through with passing and serving. You know, you got to win that game, passing and serving game. And in the end, we pulled through and we started nailing our passes, hitting our serve over and over again. So
I don't know how tired you are. They kept passing to, or excuse me, serving to you. You had to do just about everything tonight, Courtney. Tell me how you were able to play at such a high level.
You know, being able to pass keeps me in rhythm. It's I love passing and getting to hit the ball. You know. Yeah, we all just did a great job. We all stayed in system, and I can't describe how great our passing was tonight. And it kept us in system, and we were able to hit from all sides of the net, and it's great.
Well, Courtney, congratulations. Go celebrate with your team. They got the Pac-12 championship. Hats on. You were stellar tonight. Well done.
Thank you.
You bet. Courtney Schwann.
Bye.
What a great performance by her, and the crowd still here staying to cheer this team on. They got t-shirts, they got hats. Keegan Cook giving a high five to Courtney Schwann, the junior. That's the scary thing for the rest of the conference, Amy, is that they didn't play a single senior tonight for a single point. This is all juniors and under.
Well, it is, and they're so consistent. Washington does what they do so well, and they came out from the beginning wanting to win that serve pass battle. Talking to Keegan Cook, they work on serving so much. They know that it's such an important part of their game. It started with that. They took control from the beginning and were able to battle through and then win a big 4-set match.
So the Huskies are your Pac-12 champs. That does it from Seattle. Thanks to everybody on our crew. Really appreciate it. What a match that we were able to bring to you tonight. Loved every second of it. The Huskies getting it done in 4 sets here in Seattle, and they're your Pac-12 champs.